So we're back. The Premier League is back. And Forest have chalked up their first defeat to Leeds. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Hope you guys are doing well. You know the drill. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Check out OK Jerseys. Get your shirts for £15 and use code FFTV15 for a whopping 15% off. Links in the description. Coming up tonight, we're going to talk about the game yesterday. We're also going to talk about the players that are being linked to Forest. Some rumours about Thiago for 70 million. We'll get under the bonnet of all of that. Do we want to start with the transfers? Do we want to start with the game? I don't know. What do you boys think?
Well, I don't think the game's going to take very long, is it?
Well, you two went, so you guys go on it.
Go on and like.
Right, okay, yeah. Pardon?
Let's start with the lineup. Let's spice this up a bit.
Yeah, the lineup was surprising. I was very disappointed. I was hoping to see both Schlager and Diamande in there. I'm not quite sure why they weren't. I know that what's his name said a couple of things. Glasner said a couple of things about them, but don't necessarily believe them. Yeah, I was disappointed that those two players weren't playing. However, the game itself, it was just rubbish. It was the game was a non-event. Neither team were any good. Neither team looked dynamic, fluid, or any of those words that describe a good footballing team. To be honest, I didn't see a lot of difference from this game to last season. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go in on Glasner right now. It's been one game, but we desperately need some additions to this squad. We desperately need. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but we need a decent wing back because Nico and Ola Aina are both fabulous fullbacks who can go forward. They're not necessarily the best of wing backs. A wing back is basically a winger that can defend. These are defenders that can go forward. The crossing from both of them was not. Have I gone off? Have I gone off?
Yeah, screen's gone.
Okay. I don't think the quality from either of them is good enough for a true wing back. And I love them both. I think they're both fabulous football players, but they're not wing backs. And it's as simple as that. I think in midfield, I think McAtee, despite what people have said, was okay. But okay is not good enough. We need somebody that can drive and dictate games. At the moment, I'm not saying he's not capable of doing that, but right at the moment, he's not doing it. I don't necessarily think we have a better alternative, by the way. So I think we need a midfielder.
Yeah.
The whole team was okay. You know, 5s and 6s. I don't think no one player is responsible for yesterday's result and way of playing. And I think it's going to take him some time. It's going to take Glasner some time to get the players to do what he wants, isn't it? That's quite obvious. And he does need some players. So I'll hand over to Rob because Rob was sitting next to me. So he saw the game the same visually as I did, if not necessarily the same in other ways. I'll try on the camera.
I don't want to give the game any more analysis than it deserves, really. I mean, the thing is, it's a new manager, but it's the same players. And right down to the fact that we didn't see either of the new signings, which I think is kind of inexplicable. I think the problem is that any member of the GOR panel could have looked at that lineup and thought, I don't think it's going to work. And this is not hindsight. I saw sort of Ndoye and McAtee starting, Jesus up front, and I thought, we're going to have a problem getting goals this afternoon. There's not a lot of there's a lot of people who are sort of 6 out of 10, and that doesn't get you anything in the Premier League. So, look, I want to just be very clear that I'm pro Glasner. I like the guy. I like how he speaks, and I think he's got a good record, and I fully support him. If that is the new system, then I don't like it. So what I saw yesterday reminded me of some of the worst aspects of previous managers. It was the overly defensive setup of Cooper. It was the total lack of goal threat and unproductive possession of Postecoglou. And it was the lumping the ball at Igor Jesus that we saw under Sean Dyche. Now, Leeds detected quite accurately that we had a lack of pace, and therefore they decided to press us really hard, and we were not at all able to capitalise when we beat the press because nobody was forward and nobody had pace. So the first half an hour, we were really penned back. Now, what disappointed me is what Glasner said in his interview afterwards, which is, well, you know, we always thought it was going to be a tight game and someone would nick one from a set piece, and unfortunately it was Leeds, not us. I'm thinking, man, that was all set up for you to go out, put on a show with new manager bounce at home in front of your fans with a beatable opponent who we normally beat, and you were supposed to go out dazzle us. And what you did is you set up to nick a 1-0 off a set piece, and that's, I'm afraid, Cooper ball, right? And some things worked for me. As the game went on, I thought we came more into it. So it actually looked good the few times that Murillo and later Cunha went forward to join the midfield. That is obviously how it's supposed to work, but we just didn't see that enough. And I think it's possibly because they were being pressed so hard in the first half that they didn't want to carry the ball. They just wanted to lump it to Jesus. I didn't think that the midfield pairing of Sangare and McAtee was right at all. It felt like they just went through it like a knife through butter. So you'd basically lob the ball at Jesus, and then Gibbs White and Doy weren't close enough to him, so they weren't getting the knockdowns. And then they were just coming straight at us again and again. I have to say, I felt like, unfortunately, our worst performance was by Gibbs White, because he was right back to Gibbs White of the start of last season. His passes weren't coming off. His shots were woeful. And Doy was just a little bit anonymous. I think people are going in quite hard on Ola Aina. I thought he was probably our most influential player. He touched the ball more than anybody else. He did a lot of work, and he gave, I thought, a reasonably good 60 minutes. But I'm concerned now because that is a game that we won last season, right? Next game, away at Liverpool, that's also a game that we won last season. And following that, a game at home against Tottenham, which we won last season. Now, you know, if we don't take a win out of those games, we could be something like 6 to 9 points down on the equivalent fixtures from last season. That is not a good place to be. So I don't want to be negative, but
you don't want to be negative.
Well, I bloody paid and I watched it and it was crap, right? I worry that this is going to be another season of struggle. I don't want that. And I'm glad that we're linked with some strikers. We'll come on to this. I'm glad that we're linked with some strikers. But to be quite honest, you could have had Haaland playing yesterday. And with the complete lack of service and meaningful possession, it wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference.
And that's what I want to touch on. Because, I mean, I was working yesterday, literally finished at 5 o'clock. So I saw the result and then I met Ant just after. And I could tell he was in a bad mood. So I kind of like guessed what the result was without even having to have a look. But the main feedback I'm getting from people is that we didn't see anything of the style that we're expecting from Glasner. I didn't hear of high pressing. I didn't hear that we were, penning them in. And the way we were set up, the lineup for me, when I did see it, I was like, I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't make sense of it against a Leeds side. Let's be fair, out of the teams that were in the relegation battle that you're all convinced that we were in, they were the most attractive side to watch. They were playing the right side type of football. And I think we all agreed on that. I didn't think they were really going to be in any danger, and it turns out they weren't in the end. But I think they recruited well in the summer. The likes of Harry Wilson, I think, is a good addition to them, and I think they have recruited well. And you saw their players play yesterday; their debutants all made a difference. I'm concerned that he doesn't know his best team yet, and I expected him to know his best team by now. There are places that we need to cover. Obviously, there are players that we need. I guessed at like 3 or 4 in the summer. I thought we're gonna need 3 or 4 additions in the right places, but quality additions. It might stretch to a couple more than that, but it needs to happen soon because the deadline's how many days away? 10 days away?
9 days. 9 days.
A week on.
Yeah. So it's this. I think it's 11 o'clock deadline anyway on the Tuesday 2nd. I think it is. So we're not far off it, and we need to start getting some names in. Now we've been linked with a couple, and we'll obviously discuss it. But in terms of the actual game, obviously it's disappointing. But what we can't do is just like throw the baby out with a bathwater straight away. I'm just concerned that we didn't see anything of his style that we did see glimpses of in pre-season. We didn't see anything of that at all yesterday from what I saw. In the highlights, didn't see Morgan Gibbs-White at all in the highlights. So I've got to go with what you guys have said in terms of how he played. But there were signs from what I did see from set pieces. The delivery looked decent actually from McAtee from a couple of them that I saw. But other than that, I didn't see any open play opportunities that we were creating. Like I say, if you don't see Morgan Gibbs-White in the highlights, it tends to show that we haven't really done much up in that final third of the field.
He did take some shots.
We're lacking players. We're lacking players. God.
He took some shots, but the ball still hasn't landed, so they can't film the end of the highlights. He was shooting like he was at the start of last season. I just think about some of the stuff you guys said is quite interesting. Like when you look at that starting 11, that was the squad of last season. There was no new players, no new blood. And could you argue that we are in a weaker position than we were last season? Because Noah Anderson was in that squad.
I've already had a good go, but I just wanted to say, unfortunately, you're going to hate me for saying this, I don't think that Vitor Pereira loses that game. Right?
I agree with that.
The way that we finished last season, Pereira managed to do something that was really important, which was get goals out of Gibbs-White and Jesus. And his set-piece coach was excellent. His set-piece coach, remember, every time we had a set-piece, Pereira would go and sit down and the set-piece coach would come out and take over. And you could see, I mean, that when we beat Sunderland 5-0, wasn't it like 4 set-pieces? You know, that was it. And it feels, unfortunately, like if Jesus and Gibbs-White have gone back to being zero goal threat and the set pieces aren't our cutting edge anymore, it feels like a small step back. So we need and Anderson's gone as well. We need a big bloody step forward quite soon. I don't know what it is, maybe sign the striker or whatever, but it actually felt we wouldn't have lost that game at the end of last season.
My worry is...
Go on.
Sorry,
Go on, sorry.
No, so my worry is that we're all crying out for this new striker. My worry is that if the new striker had played yesterday, it wouldn't have made a great deal of difference.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
Yeah, it's the setup that was a concern yesterday.
I don't know why it's not like we were missing loads of, creating loads of chances for a striker and he just wasn't there. That's my worry.
Because you're spot on. It comes down to the two in the middle. I don't know if you remember when I had Rich on when Glasner got announced, and I said to him, "What was the most important positions?" He was saying the 8s. He goes, "Those are the key positions." That's why Glasner's trying this thing with McAtee. Now, we can get into McAtee later if you like him, if you don't like him, but that's not his natural position. We haven't got a box crasher who can go in that 8, who can really do it. I think Dominguez should have played. I think Dominguez would have been busier. Leeds are not a technical midfield. They're a workhorse with physicality. Yeah. With Ampadu and Starch. And I just don't think the setup was right. I thought Sangare got bypassed completely, him and Maxi for the first 30 minutes. The balls were going through their lines so easily. It was really bad. And then once McAtee and Sangare got into the game about 10 minutes to go in the end of the first half, we looked a little better. But even though we conceded, when Schlager came on and Nets came on and pushed out Nico Williams to the right, it looked more balanced. That's the thing. I wasn't pleased with the team selection. The team selection was not right for the opposition we had, in my opinion.
Well, I think that was born out by the game, wasn't it? Gone.
And I was going to say, and I'm just looking at his stats because I wasn't at the game, but he's made those substitutions quite late as well. And they
he got Calamuendo on with 2 minutes of injury time to go.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why he even bothered doing that. But Schlager and Nets came on the 74th minute. He took Ndoye off for Chris Wood on the 62nd. Now, Chris Wood, obviously, we're going to have to rely on him until we get a striker in. As simple as that. As simple as that, we're going to have to. And his fitness is a couple of weeks behind everybody else, which is what Glasner's been alluding to in press conferences. But like you guys said, we're not creating chances. It doesn't matter who you got up front. You could have Haaland up front. You're not going to score any goals if you're not creating the chances. So why he set up the way he did is kind of baffling to me. But I did say there's gonna be a teething period with this, and we're gonna just have to stick with it. I think he is the right manager, and I think once he gets those that style of play implemented into the players, and we did see spells of it in pre-season. We saw the high press, and we saw how we're keeping teams pegged in their half, and that's what we will start seeing more of. I mean, looking at stats for what he's done with Crystal Palace, they were the fastest transitional team in the Premier League last season. Didn't necessarily finish all those chances. They transitions faster than any other team in the league. So that's what he wants to get to. And if the system is right. Sorry,
they also
again.
conceded the most goals from set pieces, joint most goals from set pieces.
Conceded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's again. He said that he spotted that at Forest already, and again, that was a set piece goal yesterday. I do want to touch on that because I'm looking at the wall. That's not. Why is that getting through the wall? That got through
and the goalkeeper.
Yeah, but Sel should have been better placed.
Man. It's on Sel.
Surely you set up the wall there for it. It shouldn't be going through the wall.
Even though it went through, he got a hand to it. He should have pushed it round. I mean, I personally think, having watched it, I've only watched the replay once, so I might be wrong, but I think he could have got two hands on it. To be honest.
Possibly, yeah.
It wasn't exactly steaming in, was it? That ball, you know what I mean? It was quite. So yeah,
but like I say, if the wall's got to do its job, the wall has to do its job there. And it shouldn't have been a two-man wall, like James has just said. I don't know why it was from that angle, but it's sloppy, and we conceded so many late goals.
It's got a habit of doing that, you know. Sels can bring off fantastic world-class saves. In fact, he made a very good save in the second half. Yeah, but he does have this habit of letting in silly free kick goals.
So actually, you've onto something there, Ant. Didn't he let in a goal away at Brighton against Danny Welbeck, where we thought he was at fault as well?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in goal for the Ivan Toney goals as well?
Yeah, he go for that as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was the foam gate.
Foam gate, yeah. But even so, I think we all established that he should have had another man on the end of the wall, or the wall should have shifted over. But anyway, I love Sels, but I think he has got a thing about defending from free kicks. That's a bit.
But it is a weak mentality as well. Conceding so many late goals that are costing us obviously the points as well.
Yeah, I know we do.
That game, but it would have, So to lose all three, with minutes to go, it's a mentality problem. We conceded so many late goals last season.
Your dial-up's not very good today.
Yeah.
Rob will tell you about halfway through the game yesterday. I looked at the scoreboard and I went, shit. This is what I saw. I thought we were 1-0 up for some reason. I thought we were 1-0 up. And I was thinking, okay, just, it's crap, but at least we're winning. Shit.
But can we have a conversation about Sels? Because he wakes worldies and he does have the odd blooper in him. But that wasn't my issue with him yesterday. My issue is two things. He doesn't come off his line to claim the ball. And I'm getting sick of his distribution. I think his distribution is terrible. I think he there's too much lumping it up to Jesus, who's not winning any of the ball. It was coming back. They got two big lumps, in defense for them. We were winning none of them lumped up balls. And I just don't like his distribution. And I'm starting, how old is he now? Is he 34, 35? What's our succession plan from him? Because we just keep buying these old one season backup keepers. Honestly, I would have kept Ortega if we were going to do this. Like Ortega was fine and had good distribution last season. So I don't know. I don't think the keeper is an issue yet, but I think it's gonna be an issue within the next 6 to 12 months.
It's not top priority right now, is it?
I
tell you what I'm more concerned about, and I don't know if Rob will back me up on this or not, but Jai Cunha just kept booting the ball up towards Jesus, and he just wasn't sticking. It was just like constant. Every time Jai Cunha got the ball, I assume he's been told to do this, by the way. I'm not blaming the player necessarily, but it wasn't productive at all, was it, Rob? Can you remember?
No, well, they were all guilty of it. I mean, later on in the game, he did carry a couple of times and tuck into the midfield.
No, he got better. He definitely got better. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He wasn't bad, actually.
But that first pass he did. Were you lot in the Trent end?
Yeah.
Did you see the back pass he did to Sells?
I saw something that looked completely horrible. I didn't understand what was going on, but I was glad that we didn't concede a goal from it.
It was so bad. What it looked like to me was that
dancing on a pinhead.
Sells had to do a little jump thing, didn't he?
Short.
Sells had to do a little jump thing, didn't he? He kind of brought the ball and jumped over it, No,
it looked like what Sells was doing. He was like, I'm going to have to pick this up or they're going to score. We might as well just give it a free kick. And I think as he went to pick it up, Calvert-Lewin got sold the dummy, so he left it. Yeah. And then it looked like a good bit of skill.
It looked like Sells was
done. But it was just, there was lots of that little laziness, that rustiness in the passing at times, and it's like, I thought Milenkovic was probably the standout player minus the gilt edge mistake he did. That was the problem. So even someone who played really well had two mistakes. He got done in the corner where I think Jaya Cunha ended up with a yellow card, and obviously he gave away the foul, which they got their goal from. But I just think, boys, we just need so much more in this team. This team is nowhere near ready.
I know.
We need quality, not quantity. Unfortunately, I feel like the squad is already way too big of average players. And quite honestly, if somebody said to me tomorrow, we've got 6
wingers and don't play a winger.
If I logged in tomorrow and I saw your update and it said we'd sold Ndoye, McAtee, and Bakwa, I'd think fantastic.
Well, I could think of a few others as well, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi is stealing a living right now, but anyway. We'll leave that alone.
Yeah, him, Savona. I mean, is he ever going to be fit? And he was meant to go to Atalanta. Rob, I can agree with you more.
I did miss wingers yesterday, by the way. I did miss wingers yesterday. There looked so much space on those wings and nobody there. I thought. And
we were discussing this, weren't we? When Glasner was like peak Glasner at Palace, he had Mateta with Sarr and Eze behind him. I'm afraid to say that Jesus
and Munoz on the overlap.
Jesus with Gibbs White and Ndoye behind him is not going to give you the same results.
What were you lot saying to Ndoye yesterday? Again, I tried to give him a fresh blank canvas.
It was difficult because the whole team was so bad. It's like that's why I think it's difficult to pick out particular players because they were all just nothing. 6 out of 10.
I think the thing is, Ant, that we were discussing this. We said, look, McAtee and Ndoye have been no worse than anybody else, right? They were all sort of 6s out of 10, apart from Gibbs White, I think was a 5. Now, but the problem is that a lot of those other players can produce a 6 out of 10, but they've got credit in the bank. So Nico Williams can produce a 6 out of 10, but there's no way you're not going to pick him for next game. Murillo can produce a 6 out of 10. There's no way you're going to leave him out. And Gibbs White can have a stinker, but there's no way you're going to leave him out. But I'm afraid that if Ndoye and McAtee turn up and play another 6 out of 10 performance, you don't think, give them another chance. I'm sorry, no. And I'm afraid it's a little bit hubristic by Glasner to think that he's going to turn players like that into world beaters. I'm afraid he's not. He should actually watch the videos of last season and see who was good for us last season, because I think one way or another, over the next 4 or 5 games, he's going to think, maybe I should give that Hutchinson lad a go. Because in the back end of last season, he was our most creative player, and we completely lacked that yesterday.
But saying that, he's still not technically an inside 10. He's still
I don't care. Find a way to make him work in the formation.
Is there an argument to say instead of playing 3-4-2-1, play 3-4-3 with two?
Well, I
two
thought
wide
it actually 3-5. 3-5. If you want to play a back three, 3-5-2 might have been a little bit better. I know it's going back to Cooper ball, but having an extra central midfielder and just having Gibbs White and Jesus up front.
Should we be saying all this though? Because we employed Glasner knowing exactly what kind of system he likes to play. So,
then we've not bought the players.
Is there any point in us saying, well, we could try this, we could try that, because we know what Glasner's going to do. I mean, he's done it all his career.
Well, then we need a lot of squad turnover. Then basically we need a lot more squad turnover than we're seeing.
But you say that, but we've played in a back three system since pretty much we've been back in the Premier League. Well, even in the Championship, like we were playing a 3-back. We played a 3-back or a 5-back, whichever way you want to call it, under Cooper as well in the Premier League. We played every time we went up with Nuno, he'd switch to a back three. So back three isn't exactly foreign to us in the last 5, 6 and a half years.
Yeah, but on those occasions, isn't it fair to say that we went to back three to try and contain the opposition rather than win the game? 5
in essence, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not going to get you up that league. It'll just stop you going down. If you know.
I hear it, but I'm saying this isn't foreign. That formation setup where it's 3 centre backs isn't, be it a back three or be it a back 5. Isn't foreign to this group of players. Like how many of those players would have played it under Nuno, and there'd still be some there from the Cooper era. Like,
but I don't think the wing backs in Glasner's system are meant to play the same way as the wing backs in a Nuno system. I think in a Nuno system, the wing backs were concentrated on defending and trying to get up when possible, whereas in a Glasner system, the idea is for you to attack with your wing backs as an integral part of the attack.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I'm not lagging, I think I am still. Lagging, good. But that's the difference. So in the Glasner formation, those wing backs are the ones who are gonna get you forward. In the Nuno formation, they were part of a breakaway, so they were, obviously helping you with a transition. But they've got the fullbacks have got a much more pivotal role within a Glasner formation. They will be coming. That's why I liked Nets in pre-season.
Yeah, I like
he was progressing us up the field.
He was good yesterday as well.
Yeah, and if I have to, and it might be the earliest, it's not going to be a flip-flop because you can still prove me wrong. But I said a couple of weeks ago that I think Aina is going to have one of his best seasons. But looking at how Nets has played and how I prefer having him on there, and if that means either dropping Williams or Aina, it's usually going to be Aina that you're going to drop. I'd rather play Nets and have Williams.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Ed. Sorry, mate. I don't know about you, Ed, but I'm starting to get a bit of an issue with Nico playing on the left because he cannot cross that ball properly with his left foot. And if you're a wing back in a wing back situation, you need to be able to cross the ball. And he can't do that. He has to cut back all the time. And that's an issue for me. So maybe, and I love Ola, one of my favourite players, but maybe Nets deserves that left-hand side. And, well, then you've got a choice between Nico and Aina on the right-hand side.
I would say, based on the pre-season, he definitely deserves a spot. He definitely deserves a spot on that left-hand side. I think he was progressive.
He comes across to a proper wing-back, doesn't he? A natural wing-back.
Yeah. He seems to fit with Glasner's.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, he scored the other day. He scored the last goal that Nottingham Forest scored.
It's just frozen again. So I'm going to say something that's probably going to be unpopular, and I don't really care. I didn't think Nico Williams had a good game at all.
Well, it's just lagged over you. Say it again.
It's lagged all over you.
I don't think Nico Williams looked very good yesterday. And
no, it was terrible. It was terrible yesterday.
And I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. How do I phrase this? I'm not sure that he suits a wing-back formation. And that worries me. Even if we put him on the right-hand side.
Well, I don't think
we've given him. That's the word.
I get that, but I don't think we've given him enough chances on the right. I'm not going to. personally, I'm not going to just write him off right now, but I don't think. I'd like to think that he could do it on the right because he's a fantastic player. I mean, he's been player of the season for 2 years running. You know what I mean? So, I'd like to see him more on the right, give him more of a chance on the right hand side, see what he can do.
Yep. Just before we carry on, let me just catch up. There's a lot of super chats to get through. We got 666 in the house. Shout out to all you guys. Please make sure you've hit the like button. We're only on 114 likes, so take a quick second. Make sure you've hit the like button. Big up to the S-Man. He says, nobody panic. I had this ugly thought, and I wasn't sure if I want to share it or not. But
not if it's that one. No, don't.
No, it's a case of is there a world where we go into September and we're still behind Hull?
Oh no. Well, maybe.
Hull.
I went through all three options then. Yes, maybe.
What I'm saying is, could we lose to Liverpool, lose to Spurs, and lose to Villa, or draw one of those games and we'd still be behind Hull, man?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah.
I
mean, Liverpool away is not easy. I know that we've got a pretty decent record the last couple of years, but it's not easy.
Can I say something?
Tottenham are shite, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Can I make an unpopular comment?
Remember your thought. Let me just get through these. There's quite a few, right?
Yeah, go on.
Big up to Will with the 48 months. He goes, read this out this time, Cena. No, I'm not.
Or as we like to call him nowadays, LGBTQ plus. Will.
That was a mouthful.
We saw him yesterday. You'd understand if you were there.
Big up to Richard with the 5 jewels. Shout out to Will again with the GOAT trophy. 1,000 jewels.
What's these jewels things?
They do these cool animations in the live chat when they put them on, but it doesn't come up on StreamYards. So the chat get to see it live. So if you got the chat open, you get to see them all going there as well. Big up to Jay with the 10. Shout out to the S-Man with another 4.99. He says, anyone see Neville and co. Laughing to see how long our manager will last. I'm sure he'll outlast his time at Valencia. Let's put it that way. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Neville's wants to talk. And then big up to Jay with another 25 jewels, like a legend. We got this bloke in the house with 37 months. Early days, lads, will be sound. Nickie's in his happy clapper mode this season, I can tell. Shout out to you, Nicky.
Nah, he's been on the booze.
Jay with another 5 jewels. Thank you, Jay.
It's a weekend, yeah, he has.
This guy that's missing tonight for Wi-Fi issues, ironically. He says, I just started watching and Rob said he didn't want to be negative and then said we might lose the next 2 games. Then said we're crap. Then said it could be worse than last season. Hashtag startnets and Schlager. Yeah, that was a classic, Rob, there. You did say I don't want to be negative and then went quite negative.
No, I didn't want to, but I had to.
Trust me, that isn't negative for Rob.
Then he's come back with another £5 saying Dominguez likes crashing people's box.
What? He's trying to make her funny, but it's another. Yeah, I'm afraid.
Tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed.
That's it. I couldn't.
Shout out to Yvonne with 150 jewels. Absolute legend. Big up to Matt with the 44 months. He goes, need 3 quality signings, but quality players have options. And our managerial fiasco last season puts quality players off. Need Dodo. We'll talk about Dodo in a minute. CM, striker, and goalkeeper. I kind of agree with that list, but I'm not that sure on Dodo myself. Gary with the 150, thank you so much, and backs it up with another 10, and Yvonne with another 10 as well, and Gary with another 10 jewels.
I think that's a good
and
thing.
Bonjour with 1,000 jewels. Thank you guys so much. Just before we move on to the topic, there's just a comment here. I haven't seen anything about this. I don't know if you boys at the game saw it. He says, Ant, sorry to go off on a tangent. We walked over Lady Bay Bridge after the match. The lady was having a heart attack and having CPR.
Yeah, I got held up on Lady Bay Bridge because there was a massive emergency services presence. All I know is that whoever had the unfortunate incident had a lot of support, but I've not heard
I've not
anything.
seen I've not seen anything in the post or anything like that, which you'd expect it to be major in the post. Yeah, you'd expect it. So hope best wishes anyway, hopefully. But
definitely.
there's nothing in the post to suggest, it was worse than as bad as it could be.
Yeah. Rob, you wanted to make a point before we did the
Well, I'm afraid to say, one thing that worries me, not just the home form, but the home atmosphere. So Ant mentioned yesterday, we only won 4 games at home last season.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Can I just interject? I know I don't want to, Rob, but I actually added up today how much I spent on tickets last season. £1,140, and I saw 4 victories for 1,001. That's 250 quid a victory. It's not great value.
No, I was lucky enough to be at, I think, 3 of them. But I mean, I feel like the home. So it's a vicious spiral. It's a doom spiral. Look, that first season when we were under Cooper and every game felt like such a titanic struggle. The home support got us over the line, and in those first 2 seasons, it was an absolute cauldron of noise. We beat Liverpool at home. We beat Arsenal at home. We beat Man United at home. And now we're losing to Leeds, and people are almost not surprised by it. And something has to happen. And I'm not sure what it is, because obviously the crowd need to lift the players and the players need to lift the crowd. But did you remember I said yesterday, Anne, it was 35 minutes before I heard "Come On You Reds" sung in the ground. 35 minutes. Because the first half an hour was just...
On your first home game of the season.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Rob, it was all Leeds.
Yeah. But the thing is, right, we've got a new manager, new season, new kit. So there weren't any new signings, unfortunately. So maybe that could have helped. But there was... But in theory, there should have been a lot of positive energy there. And it just felt like last season again. It felt like, oh, God, I hope we don't lose. I'll take a 0-0. Oh, no, they've scored. Well, there you go. Yet another kick in the teeth. Off we go. Time to go home.
Yeah, you can be... Listen. If I had done what you guys have done, gone to the game and seen that performance and paid... I mean, I know the prices for that game went from 55 quid all the way up to £75 for tickets because it's category A because it's the first game of the season. That's ridiculous. And I'm sorry, it's priced me out of going week in, week out. I am going to be selective with my games this season, partly because last season I couldn't get to a lot of games, obviously because of my knee situation, but also what I managed to do with the money that I saved. And I'm thinking what Ant's just said there, that's nearly £1,200 on tickets. It's... As much as it's a luxury, for us, and we're so grateful to have the opportunity to go to the games. Don't get that wrong from anybody who's listening, but it's got to a point where I'm going to pick and choose my games. And I know Ant he's traveling from further away, and it's going to be harder to get to and from games for him anyway, logistically. But the price of the tickets, considering what you can get with 55, 60 quid nowadays, it's going to be a decision for a lot of people. But at the same time, it was a sellout yesterday. So the atmosphere has to be created. But if we were 4-0 up, you would have heard an atmosphere. So it's got to be created by the players on the pitch as well. The fans can't just be cheering for it. If there's something to cheer about, they wouldn't cheer.
Sorry, it's not even that. They're just attacking with intent would get the crowd up. You don't have to be 4-0 up. Just attack with intent.
Even a tackle, a decent challenge. So you got to have a look at how we set up yesterday. And go on, bro.
No, I was just going to say the whole ticket prices. It's not just a Forest problem. It's a Premier League problem. Like the ticket prices make up so little of the overall income of a club in terms of what it generates, and then you get the usual BS from all clubs, including ours, that we have to put the ticket price up because we want to invest this, that, and the other, and what have you. Whereas the increase in the Sky money covers pretty much more than.
You're absolutely right there. It was about last time I looked at the accounts, the gate receipts were about 10 million out of a turnover of 135 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
what
practically
is that?
Make it free.
Yeah, and that's just a negotiation.
For a long time, they could make it free.
They could, or at least freaking reduce the price.
Well, let's say a tenner for adults or a £5 for a kid, but you'd have to build a bigger stadium.
Well, it's all chicken and the egg, isn't it?
Which is another subject.
Yeah. Well, let's see if that ever happens. So, yeah, but look, let's kind. Is there anything else we need to cover on the match? I mean, we got Leeds on Tuesday again. I'm really not looking forward to it.
Just one thing, and it's really sad actually, because I was trying to think back last time we lost to Leeds at home, and in my lifetime we never have. 1971 was the last time we lost.
Oh no, we did. We lost once, which was when
not in the league. We haven't.
No, we did. It was straight after Gary Speed died, and Leeds had to pay their respects to him by thrashing us 4-0 at home. It made me physically sick, actually. We got the backlash of like, oh, we have to pay.
Was that a league game or was that a cup game?
It was a league game, yeah.
You know what? You know what's really sad is I undoubtedly would have been at that game. I cannot remember it.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of crap on top of crap back then, wasn't it? Okay, let's start talking transfers, boys. There's a lot to discuss on this. Let's just quickly catch up with some more of the supers. The chat has been crazy with them. Big up to Wazza with another £2. He goes, I think we'll have a great season, boys. I still am quietly confident, because if you look at the rest of the results in the Premier League, it's been a complete and utter mess. I mean, I did smile with Hull beating Man U. Spurs getting slapped up after spending 300 million to get slapped up. Liverpool looked rubbish today.
Aston Villa's battering today.
Yeah, Man City Villa got battered. That's what they get for keeping Spurs up.
Villa got battered.
Yeah, so, it's going to be a crazy season. I think there's going to be a lot of twists. It's not going to be a straight big 6, 1-6. And Wayne's given another 1,000 jewels like an absolute legend. Shout out to you, Wayne. Big up to Steph with the 29 months. Hope you're well. And shout out to Wayne with the 35 months. He goes, give OG time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Come on, you Reds. I do kind of agree with that, but he's had most of the preseason. There isn't a given.
100% agree with that. Come on, man. I'm not going through
the. I just feel that football we saw yesterday was not Glasner ball. Exactly what Rob said in his opening gambit. It was a mishmash of Cooper, Dyche, little bit of Postecoglou, all weird stuff going on yesterday, which was crazy. Chappie with the £5 says, Wolfie still putting of this game of golf. He's running scared. Forest will be okay this season under Glasner. Come on, you Reds. Bro, I had a round 2 weeks ago, and I was not as rusty as I thought I would be. So we will definitely hook it up. Big up to you, bro. Okay, let's jump into the transfer news, and let's get the chat involved in this. So, the news is that, as a knee-jerk reaction, if you like, Forest chucked a £70 million bid in for Igor Thiago from Brentford. He bagged 22 goals last season. He I think he's 25 years old, and the reports, if you believe him, from Rudy, who's an okay source, I wouldn't say he's like Ornstein level and stuff like that, is that there's a good chance that he may leave in this transfer window. Now, time is running out. We do need a striker, boys, but is Thiago the striker that you would want? Who wants to open us up on this one?
I'm going to go first on this because I'm pretty sure I mentioned this name towards the end of our last GOR, and it was
playing your own trumpet, Rob.
And it was roundly mocked and ridiculed. Look, he played in the World Cup. He was crap, but he did play in the World Cup. We're talking about the guy that started for Brazil in the World Cup. His history with Brentford, right? He's actually been there 2 years.
Yeah.
The first year they bought him, and he had a horrific injury and missed pretty much the whole season. And then, with Brentford, it's always like, oh, how are we going to replace Tony? How are we going to replace Wissa? And they actually had him up their sleeve the whole time.
He was the Tony replacement, Rob. Sorry. But as you said, he got injured. Yeah.
He was a Tony replacement.
Now, Brentford are the sort of people that we should be targeting because they are a selling club. It is their job to produce high-quality players and sell them to bigger clubs in the Premier League. That is how they maintain their existence, or a little factory, a little bit like Bournemouth, that just produce these players, and they seem to just constantly find more of them. So Thiago is going to be bought by somebody. And if he's not bought by us, he might be bought by Newcastle or Aston Villa or Spurs or somebody like that. So if you're telling me, would you like to have him? Yeah, I definitely would. Definitely would. Sorry?
For 70.
Listen.
I would go for him.
I would go with what Brian Clough said, right? Somebody said, why are you paying £1 million for Trevor Francis? Do you not think that's too much? Blah, 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 blah. He says, look, I value a player in terms of where they can take this club, right? So if Thiago takes us into Europe, he's worth 70 million. Or put it this way, if Thiago is the difference between us staying up and going down, he's worth 150 million. So don't get hung up about whether the 70 million is good business. We need a striker.
Ez?
But by that logic, though, Rob, if you're using this, if he does, you throw me there, Ez. By your logic, if he does this, if he does that, he's worth 70 million. What if he doesn't? Then we've wasted 70 million. We haven't got. We're not like Man United. We're not like Arsenal or Chelsea. We can't afford.
We just sold Anderson for 116 million, Ant, though.
Yeah,
we've just sold a player for 116, so we can afford it.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Let me finish my point before you jump in. My point was that if he fails at 70, we can't go out like those other clubs and spend another 70 on a player. So if we spend that amount of money on a player, we've got to be 100%. Well, you can never be 100%, let's be honest, but you've got to be confident in the player that you're buying is the real deal. And personally, I'm not certain about Thiago. He's had one good season. There was a player called Michu, played for Swansea. Had one good season. Everybody was going crazy about him. And that was it. Never heard from him again. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but it's a concern that if we blow our load, if we blow 70 million on a player, I need to know he is absolutely nailed on. And I'm not sure Thiago is. I'm not saying don't get him. I'm just saying it concerns me because that's a lot of money for Nottingham Forest to pay.
I'm surprised to hear you, of all people, say that, Ant, because you were saying that a proper striker should be getting 15 league goals a season. So that basically, if you apply that filter, there was only about 4 or 5 people that met that criteria, and he actually does.
No, you are right. But I do like to see it on a regular, more than one season basis, because I've seen quite a number of players that have been one season wonders. I'm not saying Thiago is, by the way. I'm not saying he is one season wonder, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So if you said to me straight out, do you want Thiago for 70 million? Right now, I'd say yes, because we're desperate for somebody. But if I could think about it for a little while, I'd like to have a little look around Europe and see what's available for, perhaps more reasonable.
What are you saying?
That's it.
Yeah, he might be more reasonable, but they won't have Premier League experience. He's had a season, full season. He played all 38 games. He was he was the second top scorer in the league. Now, this is where I think he comes undone under the Ant's rules. 8 of his goals were penalties. So technically he only scored 14 goals in Ant's calculation. But he is a player. But I actually...
No, you just put me off you now, Ed. You just put me off
you. But he's more than capable. He's half of those penalties he won himself anyway, so he's getting in the right positions. My concern is his ball control isn't great, but he is a bagsman, and this is what something you were calling for, Wolfie, a couple of episodes ago, and that he is that type of player. Now the 70 million, I think, is Anderson tax, because he should really be about, I think they paid about 28 million for him. So if they double their money, 60 million is probably the top end you should be paying for him. I think they've added on 10 million, which is the Anderson tax, and which we're going to have to pay whichever player we go in for, I think. So am I concerned about the price tag? Not as much as you're saying.
We don't know that, do we? From the one single sorry guys, for the one single report, so I don't believe any of this anyway. For the one single report that's come out, we've offered 70 million. That doesn't sound right to me. You don't go in.
It's weird because once the bid's gone in, I would have expected Ornstein or Romano. Or something like that to have at least said backed it up and credited Rudy and something like that. There's been nothing of that sort. It's only been that.
Why would we go in with 70 million? That's a lot to go in for a play like that.
You wouldn't go in straight. Yeah, that is the red flag on this one. That is a red flag. Yeah. But in terms of a player, I would go for him. In terms of player, sorry. In terms of player, he is somebody I would go for.
I get that.
Let me put this to you as a question, right? And big up to Caden with the £2, literally reading my mind here. Would you rather spend 70 million on Thiago or 30 million, 25 to 30 million on Mateta? That's a good question. Big up to you, Caden.
It is a good question. And I personally would go for the 25 million for Mateta.
Why? Is this back to your whole salary movement that you've been doing? Yeah?
Because he's a damn sight cheaper, damn sight less of a risk. So if he does fail, we can afford to go again. Okay. And also, like Thiago, he's a proven bagsman, isn't he?
Okay. I'm going to have to make sure. And
thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, Glasner knows him really well.
Is Mateta available for that amount?
Have you seen what Mateta's doing now? He's taking Palace to court. Ironic that.
Oh my God, he's doing a whisper, is he? Is he going on strike?
So I'll put together all the details if we ever get linked to him. But just in a quick summary, he didn't read the terms of his contract, or his agent didn't explain it properly. He didn't know there was a +1 on the contract. And then D was saying to me, I don't know if this bit is true or not, so take it with a pinch of salt, that there's a reducer on his salary every year he stays at Palace.
A reducer?
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat
wouldn't sign on a reducer, would he? He wouldn't.
That's rather like that's the offer I proposed to Chris Wood about 2 years ago, and everybody said that was a horrible idea, and it would actually work very well, I think.
No, it still is a horrible idea.
The point is, whatever the details are about it, he is taking Palace to court over his contract. Therefore, there's a clear animosity. He wanted to leave Palace in January last year. It fell through because of his knee injury. He did. Yeah. So he wants to leave. And they need to get rid.
They need to get rid, don't they?
In answer to your question, I think we should be pursuing Mateta, we should be pursuing Thiago, and we should be pursuing Dilap, right? And the reason is, let's say you're, let's say you're buying a house or whatever. You go and you don't just look at one, do you? It is
true. Sorry, Rob. It is true. He's on a reducer then.
Sorry, I don't know about you, but if I'm buying a house, I go and look at several houses, right? And then if somebody says, well, I'm not selling you this house for a penny less than 200,000, you say, well, okay, I'll tell you what, I found a really nice one for 180,000. So I'll give you that, and you need to be pursuing all three. And hopefully they are. So the point is that you would never take Dilap for 50 million when 70 will get you Thiago, 1 goal versus 22. But there's an amount with all three of them where they become appealing. And then there's an amount where they become too expensive. And you have to pursue all three negotiations. But God damn it, one of them has to come through.
You make a good point. And I'm going to do an ant here and bring Arsenal up. If you remember Arsenal last summer, they were between Sesko and Gyökeres. To the extent that they negotiated both deals all the way until they had them both agreed. And then, in essence, Arsenal picked which one they wanted out of the two of them. I actually think I would go for 2 out of the 3. I would get Dilap and Mateta. You can get Dilap. I reckon Chelsea would sell for 35. And then you go and get Mateta for 25. You're looking at a net spend of 60, which would be 10 less than you get. Yeah, I just think that makes more sense.
Yeah, but 2. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you're phasing out players like Chris Wood, aren't you? Because I said I didn't want to be going into this season with him as our main striker. When we're in trouble.
Right, he's injured, mate. He's injured. I would take him.
It's a shame because Samu's a player.
Yeah. Good. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that the concern was if we're going into this season with Chris Wood as our main striker, then something's definitely gone wrong, and that's the situation we've got at the moment. So if you are getting those two in for 60 million, you're getting rid of Chris Wood as well.
I'm sorry, that gets a round of applause. Cracking line. That's put me off. I hope she's watching. You're in trouble. Oh,
yeah, because she did the same. It just they were made for each other.
Oh dear. All right, let's just catch up on the super chats before we continue. There's still something we gotta get on to Dodo, and that's what Yvonne's saying here. Big up to Yvonne with the 199. Dodo, Igor, Thiago, let's get them. Dodo is sounding close. We'll come on to him in just a second, I promise. Big up to Paul with the trophy cake. That was a really cool animation. Well picked out. Thank you for the 1,000 jewels. Big up with Matt says here with 199. Thiago 70 million, 22 goals, or sick note Delap 50 million. There's no way they get 50 million for Delap, not from Marinakis. I think it would be 35. I think it'd be.
I'm still concerned about his salary as well. I'll just stick that in.
Oh, the salary. How much is Thiago on, Ant?
I tell you what, he won't be on 100 grand a week.
He's on. I think
he's on 75. He's a top earner at Brentford, and he's on 75 grand a week.
I think it's about 75. And big up with Yvonne with another 100 jewels, the absolute legend. Guys, please make sure you've hit the like button. We've got over 700 of you in here, 168 likes. So it should be well over 200 likes at least. So do hit that like button. Let's talk about Dodo, the extinct right back.
Dodo.
So this one sounded like it was very close towards the end of last week. It looks like a fee is being or has been agreed or close to at 10 mil with Fiorentina. He's 27, if I remember rightly. Really quick. Can play as a right wing back. Really good in the going forward. For me, the height causes him, not just because of the height, he lacks an aerial defensivity, if that's even a word, at the back, especially from aerial crosses. So he's risky but very front-footed, so would push us up the field, and he's a very good crosser of the ball. Where are you guys on Dodo? Obviously, there's been some other fullback or wing-back links as well. Reed looks like he's staying, so he's not going anywhere. There was the whole link with him, with us, and Roma, if I remember rightly. So it's starting to feel like it's getting very narrow. There's obviously the Palace right wing back as well, who's potentially open to a sale, or Palace are open to selling him. We need one though, don't we, boys? Ez, what are you saying on this one?
I mean, I've got a problem with his height, but at 5'7", I tower over him. I think he's 5'5", isn't he? So I ain't got a problem with his height. It's like the flip side of Savona, isn't he? Savona was like 6 foot plus as a right back, but as a wing back, I think he suits wing back more than he would. So his attacking wise, he's definitely an asset, but defensively, we are going to lose out a little bit. But I think you got to be forward thinking, and I think he would suit that. So at 10 million, even if he ends up being just a squad player, we need competition in those wing back positions, and I think. I agree with the guys. I'm not sure the incumbents, Aina and Williams, are the best wing backs necessarily. The great fullbacks, and maybe they need some competition. So Dodo, I haven't got an issue with that price as well. The height, like I said, it's not an issue for me. But attacking wise, he's definitely an asset. He can get the ball in. He's nippy. You'll get down the wing. You make us progressive, like I believe. And I've mentioned that Nets has done on the left-hand side. I think we'll get that from him as well. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So yeah, let's see it come in. But we need to see players coming in, man. Obviously, they've missed pre-season, so you're already behind. And there's a big international break coming up in September, isn't there? So is it in September, Sana?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
So, you want the players in, obviously, before the end of the transfer window, but that's the time they're going to be bonding. That's the time when they're going to be doing their training and getting to know the squad and stuff like that. So yeah, get him in, mate, at that price.
Just before I come to the other two, but something I keep forgetting to do. Loads of people have asked about the Fantasy Premier League. Have you got the code for it, Ez?
Yeah, I can pop it in the chat.
Can you chuck it in the chat? So if you want to get in the Fantasy Premier League, I forgot to do mine, so I'm already a week behind. But yeah, we'll chuck it in the chat.
Anytime.
Huh?
You can join anytime now. You know, you still.
Yeah, we're always behind, man. I'll give you all a head start.
You'll be fine. Yeah, but there's a separate league for the ones who start a week later. Trust me.
Oh, the special league. Yeah. Sorry, Ant Rob, Dodo.
Look, I don't know anything about the guy, so I'm not going to comment on him. But if we're going for a wing back, I'd like us to go for an elite wing back, not somebody I've never heard of for 10 million. I can't see a 10 million pound player that I've never heard of coming into the Premier League and ripping it up. I'd go for Munoz myself. But, you know, if we've got a bit of spare cash going around, I'd go for Munoz. He's established.
I think he'd cost about 20 to 25.
Yeah. I know he's 31, 30, 31, something like that. Yeah.
He's still got plenty in him.
Yeah. I'd rather spend the money on that than something like Dodo that, let's be honest, not many people would have heard of. You know. So I'd rather go for Munoz for 20, 25 million.
You don't need to play more FIFA, man, honestly. Rob, you
no real opinion.
Any FIFA.
No real opinion other than that if Glasner wants him, we need Glasner signings for the Glasner system. And if Glasner thinks that he's going to fit the Glasner system and wants to sign him, then fine.
That's a fair comment, and
I'm agreeing with it. No, I'm agreeing with it. I'm agreeing with it. Yeah. But how many players have we had in that we've not heard of that have been shit? You know, you can't just pick out one person as an example. But yeah, Murillo, yeah, and this guy might. But how old is this guy?
27.
It's 27.
Yeah.
How old was Murillo when he came?
18, 19.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Do I need to say?
Yeah, but he's playing in Serie A. It's not like he's coming from freaking.
Who's he playing for?
Fiorentina.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been doing
still
well.
Never
changed your mind. Fiorentina, no. They got to a lot of European finals and stuff.
Yeah, no, they get to the level. Yeah, no. 27, and I've not heard of him. No.
Would anyone take Matty Cash back?
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Cash back. No. That's a good. Do you get some money as well?
You know the one who we missed out on? I'm sorry, Ez. It's Spence. We should have taken 25 mil.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have got him for that, mate. We would not have got him.
All right.
But even if it was for Spence, I would have gone 45 mil myself. Yeah. I think he'd have been ideal. Yeah.
It's annoying. Okay, and then the other one we need to talk about, Caden. You don't need to spam Caden. We can see it. Bergvall. He was
awful yesterday. It was so bad yesterday.
That's because his mind is on Nottingham, obviously.
No thanks.
I don't want us to spend 60 million on Bergvall. I like Bergvall, but I don't want to spend 60 million on him.
What have you seen in Bergvall that makes you think he's decent?
I've seen him play. Quite a few times, and I'm not
denying that you've seen him play. I'm saying what you've seen in that play. You know, a bit like
it puts himself about a lot. He gets stuck in. He can pass the ball. Yeah, he's a good player.
He's got something about him for a 20-year.
I've not seen. Sorry, it's gone.
No, go on. I was going to say just for a 20-year-old, he has got something about him. He's got a presence on the field, and I think there's a lot of potential there. But 50 million was the absolute maximum I was looking at for him, purely because of his age, because there is a sell-on value for him, and I think he has got that ability, but he's got something about him that not every 20-year-old has, and I think he's got, like I say, he's physically big as well. So he's not. You're not buying a 5'5" right back or a wing back, are you? So I like him, but not going to 60 million for him. No way. I think they'll sell him for a lot cheaper because I don't think he's in their plans. I don't know why
he lost a good 10 million after yesterday. He was horrific.
I don't even know why he played him yesterday.
Yeah,
put him shop window.
Yeah. Dangerous time shop window when the season starts and. He should have lost 4-0 to Brentford.
It is weird that the transfer window is going so deep into the season, isn't it?
I hate it. Yeah. Why don't they change it and just say it shuts, day before the season starts? Why
I think it was the World Cup pushed a lot of, put a lot of things on hold.
It's always about.
It's still plenty of time, though, Rob. I mean, this extra week's not going to make any difference, is it?
But the point here is like. why have we waited so late? Like, let's be real here, right? This has been, I don't think it's been talked about enough. Why are we doing our business so late, right? When did Glasner even come in? It was June, wasn't it?
Well, they did Schlager in quite good time and Diamande in quite good time.
Oh, really? Diamande in good time that he wasn't able to play our opening game of the season?
I would have played him. He played in the preseason friendly a week ago. So that I don't think that...
Did you hear Glasner's reason?
What?
For not playing?
Yeah, what was the reason?
He said because Murillo's not 100% fit, he didn't want to have to make 2 subs if he needed to sub Murillo. That was his reason.
That's poor.
Yeah.
What?
He wasn't sure about Murillo's fitness, and he wasn't sure about Diamande being ready. So he didn't want to make...
He's just played a full World Cup campaign with Côte d'Ivoire, so...
I'm only telling you what the man said.
I mean, look, Morgan Gibbs-White has spent the summer playing golf, right? Whereas Diamande has played half a dozen games at the World Cup. So, if he should be at peak physical readiness.
No, but Diamande was training separately from Sporting because this deal was dragging out for so long. You can blame Forest, you can blame Sporting, you can blame both, whatever. The point is that fucking hell, Caden, stop spamming in the chat. It's getting annoying. But the point is here, he didn't have a
okay, I can't see it, Caden. That's all I could say.
Yeah, it just I forgot what I was saying now. Diamande, yeah. We moved too late for Diamande. You can't say we did it early enough, Rob, because he didn't play yesterday. And because of the reasons Ant said, he didn't want to make potential an extra sub if Murillo wasn't fully fit and he wasn't expecting Diamande to be fit. So now when do we start Diamande? Do we start him against Leeds on Tuesday and then suddenly he might not be fit enough for the more important game for me, which is Liverpool at the weekend? Or do we leave him until the Liverpool game where Glasner may think, well, he hasn't got match fitness, therefore we can only play him 60, 70 minutes. This is the problem with it. And now if we go and sign any other players, how are they getting integrated in? This is why I've moaned all summer that all the players or the core of what we bought who would be contending for starting places should have been there or thereabouts on the Portugal camp. And you lot laughed at me and mocked me.
No one laughed at you, but it's not always possible.
Don't straw manners.
Yeah, no.
I agree entirely with what you're saying, and I have done all through. I do not understand why teams... I do understand why they leave it till the last minute, because they're hoping to get a bit of a bargain, obviously. But is it a bargain when you end up missing out on them altogether and you don't get them at all? You know, or they come in so late that you lose your first 3 games. It's ridiculous. You should get your players as soon as possible, and everybody knows this. Everybody in football knows this. But clubs consistently end up buying on the last day.
Yeah, but it's the domino effect, and it's the influence of agents in football, and they've totally taken over. You know, so when the agent feels the deal is right, that's when the deal will be made. But yeah, there is a domino effect. Ideally, obviously, you would have got the players in as soon as possible, and some clubs have managed to do that. But those clubs are massively overpaid for those players, the ones that they have managed to get in. So if you have a look at the clubs that did their business early, the likes of Spurs, you know, Chelsea. I
was about to say you're talking Tottenham, aren't you?
Yeah, they're massively overpaid, aren't they? So you can do it that way.
Let's look at it like this, right? Let's say Forest in for Delap. Let's play this game. So Forest in for Delap. Chelsea saying we want 50 million. Forest saying no. And in Forest minds, they think if we go back on the last day, because they will be desperate to get rid of Delap. Chelsea will be the amount they'd spend. So Forest are obviously thinking, well, if we're going on the last day and offer him 30, they might take it. I think that's why the deal late.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're in any negotiation, you cannot show your hand. You can't appear too interested.
But can't you spin that the other way around? Like Chelsea have 43 players on the books.
They've got 53 players on their books.
Okay, well, then the pressure is on them to offload, then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You can get bargains.
Yeah, but they're not under financial pressure.
They do not need Delap, right? If in fact, I'm wondering why we can't take him on a season-long loan or something like that.
That'd be ideal.
I would take that.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. In fact, let's be honest, that's ideal for 90% of deals that you want to do, isn't it? Can we try him for a year first?
Yeah, try to pull you back.
So they're not playing hardball because they want to hang on to him, is what I'm saying. No, so
exactly,
and therefore The trouble is that Chelsea can see that we have a shortage in the striking quality, and they can see that we've got cash from the Anderson deal. So therefore, if we start appearing a bit too interested or a bit desperate, the price is 50 million. Whereas if we let them stew for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we come in on the last day and say, we wanted to buy Thiago, it's probably going to fall through. Can we have him for 35? Let's just get it done. They might say, all right then.
Okay, you say that, okay, but in the bigger scheme of things, do you give a damn about 15 million quid? Like, let's just say, we're just using the name Delap, whether you think he's good, crap, or indifferent, right? Would it not be more beneficial for us to have had him available for the Leeds game rather than trying to save 5, 10, 15 million quid?
No, I'll say no. I'll say no.
Yeah, maybe they have a limit to what they think Delap's worth. If it's 35,
where
it's
is
35.
That? But let's not say 15 million ain't anything. Look at the situation that Aston Villa are in. They're in the champ. They won the Europa Cup last season. They're in the Champions League. Look how many other players they've had to lose. So and Newcastle.
And we're thrashed today, Villa.
But I'm talking more about the financial situations they're on. They were under huge pressure to lose those players. And because they're not in that situation, so losing 10, 15 million here does make a big difference. Why are you going to overpay for the sake of 1 or 2 weeks? It doesn't make financial sense. So I think the club have to be a bit more careful looking at the situation of those clubs now, because they're in the Champions League and they've just had Villa in particular have just had their whole club decimated. Their spine of their team is gone.
I'll say this then: if
Newcastle have been torn to pieces.
They still looked all right today. All right, let me say this then. Right?
To such an extent, they could only draw against Liverpool. I mean,
careful, we got them next week. All right, but don't let this scenario happen then. Forest then go and get Delap on the last day of the transfer window for 50 million. Because
that would annoy me. I would be along with what you're saying then. If we're going to pay that, you may as well have paid it 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. If that's the case, 100%. But ideally, it's going to be close to what Rob says, around 35 million.
It's still better to get someone on overpay than not get anybody because we're too precious.
Correct.
Because I don't want to go there, but if it ends up with a relegation battle and a panic buy in January,
he's already talking.
I don't mind overpaying. I don't mind overpaying one bit if I believe the player is like. I know
just not on the salary.
No, I don't mind overpaying if it's a brilliant player. I don't want to overpay for a Cartos that's got 1 goal in last year.
I wonder who you're referring to, Ant. Cartos.
Even though I would be willing to back him if we did get him, I'd be willing to back him and hope he can become a good player. But there's a difference between buying a player on and overpaying. If you're overpaying, he's got to be good. Really good.
Okay, let's wrap it up there. We've babbled on about nothing for an hour and a quarter. There will be hopefully a transfer update tomorrow. We will do a end of transfer deadline stream as we normally do. I think it could be a busy one. I know Glasner said 2 players. I think Forest are going to get more than 2, especially after the performance we saw yesterday. So,
are we going to get rid of any?
Yeah, we need some exits.
Yeah, we're just hoarding some of these.
We need to shift some of these wingers out. We're not going to use them.
Exactly. Right, I'm going to send you over to our mates over at Talking Reds. If you don't know them, they're a Forest channel as well. They're speaking more sense than we do. So if everyone could just write in their FFTV raid, let them know we sent you. Make sure you subscribe to them. They're great guys in there. So show them some love and support. Rich, Greg, and all the rest of the boys there. And we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you've liked and subscribed. Check out OK Jerseys. Come on, you Reds.